it was a very interesting meeting in which we speak about our bilateral relations and also with some multilateral issues. We also speak about our bilateral cooperation. As you know, India is one of the most important markets for Guinea-Bissau cashew, but we also wanted to have direct investment from India in Guinea-Bissau.
The ground shakes as a 200-ton steel giant rolls out of a factory deep inside Bihar. Its body glistens in electric blue, its engine roars at 4,500 horsepower, and its destination isn't Mumbai or Delhi, it's 8,000 kilometers away, across oceans, in a country most Indians barely think about, Guinea, in West Africa. This isn't just another train. It's India's first ever commercial export of high-performance locomotives to Africa, and the deal? A jaw-dropping 3,000 crore. But how did a rural factory in Bihar, state often spoken about for poverty and underdevelopment, end up building world-class locomotives that rival anything from the US, Europe, or China? And why does a small West African nation want 150 of these machines so badly that it's willing to pour billions into this deal? To understand that, we need to step inside the unlikely birthplace of these monsters on wheels, Madhepura. A name that once meant little outside of Bihar now echoes in global rail circles. Here stands one of India's most advanced locomotive factories, born out of a joint venture between Indian Railways and American rail giant Wabtec. This isn't just a workshop, it's a 250-acre complex equipped with cutting-edge technology, and it's on land where farmers once grew rice and wheat. Today, 3 types of tracks, broad gauge, standard gauge, and Cape gauge, crisscross the facility. That means locomotives built here aren't restricted to India. They can run almost anywhere in the world. For decades, India depended on imports. Locomotives came from Europe, designs from the West, and modernization crawled at a snail's pace. Then, in 2018, the tide turned. Out of this very factory rolled India's first indigenously manufactured 12,000 horsepower electric freight locomotive. Suddenly, the country wasn't just buying trains. It was building beasts of its own. But what makes this even more extraordinary is the contrast. Bihar, long stereotyped for underdevelopment, migration, and lack of opportunity, is now the unlikely birthplace of machines worth hundreds of crores. Still, there is a question that remains. What exactly makes these locomotives so special that a nation halfway across the globe is ready to sign one of the biggest deals in Indian railway history? To answer that, we have to open the hood. These locomotives are not just engines, they're rolling fortresses of engineering. Each one delivers 4,500 horsepower, enough to pull enormous iron ore loads across the rugged terrain of Guinea. They're powered by sea propulsion systems that maximize efficiency and durability, even in brutal African heat. With regenerative braking, they don't just stop heavy loads, they actually send electricity back into the system, saving energy with every run. Step inside the driver's cabin and you won't see the Spartan controls of an old Indian train. Instead, you'll find airline-style ergonomic seating, touchscreen panels, and climate-controlled interiors. There's even a microwave, a fridge, and a waterless toilet. For engineers who spend long hours on the rails, these aren't luxuries, they're survival tools. Safety is another game-changer. Fire detection and suppression systems guard against accidents. Microprocessor controls ensure precision like never before, and advanced communications tech allows these locomotives to operate seamlessly even in remote terrains. But perhaps the most impressive feature is flexibility. These engines are designed to handle multiple gauges, making them globally exportable. In other words, Bihar isn't just building for India anymore, it's building for the world. And this global ambition is exactly what connects India to Guinea. Because the real story isn't just about trains, it's about what they'll be hauling, and why Guinea needs them so desperately. Guinea is a nation blessed with one of the richest untapped mineral reserves on Earth. Hidden beneath its soil lies the Samandu mountain range, often called the El Dorado of iron ore. The deposits there are so massive that mining giants like Rio Tinto and Chinese consortiums have battled for years to gain access. The challenge? Samandu is in a remote, mountainous region. To bring iron ore from deep inside Guinea to global markets, the country needs a railway network stretching hundreds of kilometers to its ports. And for that network, they need locomotives powerful enough to pull some of the heaviest loads in the mining industry. Enter India, by supplying 150 Evolution Series ES43 Acme locomotives. India isn't just selling machines, it is enabling Guinea to finally tap into its greatest natural resource. The deal has been structured across 3 years, 37 locomotives in the first year, 82 in the second, and 31 in the third. The first batch, nicknamed Como locomotives after a Guinean river, already rolled out in 2025, painted in striking blue. They symbolize the beginning of a new chapter in Guinea's economic future. But there's a twist. This isn't just about Guinea's economy, it's also about global competition because the Samandu project has attracted the world's biggest players, especially China. And here's where things get really interesting. For years, China has dominated Africa's infrastructure scene. Roads, ports, railways, you name it, Beijing has built it. With the Belt and Road Initiative, China poured billions into projects across the continent, often locking countries into long-term debts. Guinea has been no exception. Chinese firms are already heavily involved in the Samandu iron ore project, providing funding and construction. So when India stepped in with a 3,000 crore locomotive export deal, it wasn't just a business contract, it was a statement. For the first time, India was directly competing with China on African soil, offering high-tech solutions without the strings of loans and credit lines. This is significant. Unlike previous deals where India offered concessional credit, this locomotive export is a purely commercial transaction. Guinea is paying for the locomotives outright. That changes the narrative. It's no longer about aid or soft loans. It's about India being recognized as a supplier of world-class industrial equipment. And if this deal succeeds, it could open the floodgates. African nations that have grown wary of Chinese dependency may start looking to India as an alternative partner. But what does this mean back home in India? Every locomotive that leaves the Madhepura factory isn't just a piece of steel, it is a source of livelihood. Thousands of workers are employed directly and indirectly. Local suppliers in Bihar now provide parts, logistics, and services. Training centers are upskilling youth who once left the state in search of jobs. Exports on this scale also mean foreign exchange earnings, boosting India's balance of trade. For the first time, Bihar is at the center of a global supply chain, exporting not farm produce or raw materials, but high-tech engineering products. There's also the diplomatic ripple. This deal strengthens India's credibility in Africa, a continent that will define the geopolitics of the 21st century. Energy, minerals, trade routes all run through African partnerships. And now, thanks to locomotives rolling out of Bihar, India has a stronger foothold in that game. But perhaps the most inspiring ripple is psychological. For decades, people saw Bihar as a state of backwardness. Today, it's associated with futuristic technology and global exports. That shift in perception could have as much impact as the billions the deal is worth. And yet, this isn't the end of the story. Because the real question is, what does this deal say about India's place in the world? The locomotive deal with Guinea is more than a contract, it's a symbol. A symbol of India's transition from a buyer to a builder, from a follower to a competitor, from an inward-looking economy to an outward-reaching industrial power. It proves that Make in India isn't just a slogan, it's a reality that can move steel giants across oceans. It shows that Indian factories can compete with the likes of General Electric, Siemens, and Chinese state-owned giants on a global stage. It also marks a shift in diplomacy. Africa is no longer just a continent India engages with through summits and cultural ties. It's a place where Indian machines, engineers, and technology are shaping the future. And for Guinea, these locomotives could be the key to unlocking its mineral wealth, fueling its economy, and rewriting its role in the global supply chain. But perhaps the most powerful image is this: a train built in Bihar, powered by Indian hands, carrying Guinean iron ore to the world. A journey that connects villages in India with mountains in Africa and markets across the globe. That's not just a business deal. That's history in motion. When the first Como locomotive rolled out of Madhepura, it wasn't just the roar of an engine, it was the sound of a new India declaring its place on the world stage. A 3,000 crore deal, 150 locomotives, and a partnership that bridges continents. For Guinea, it's a pathway to prosperity. For India, it's proof that a nation once importing technology can now export innovation. And for the world, it's a reminder The age of India as a global industrial power is only just beginning.